Welcome to the second episode where I summarize the animated series Love, Death, and Robots, now in 10 words or less. In case you refuse to watch part 1 or suffer from that memento disease, I'll bring you up to speed very quickly. Love, Death, and Robots is an anthology series on Netflix. I'm summarizing every episode and rating them on 4 points: premise, payoff, presentation, and pants or excitement. It's gonna be great. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll get angry with me and leave a mean comment, then forget you made the comment and go stroke one out. That's where the love comes in. But first, Death and Robots, Volume 2. Why does your Roomba need a laser? Style over substance or style as substance? Imagery subtle as a carpet bombing. This episode ends just as it begins. An army of landscapers could defeat this evil. Coal in the stocking doesn't seem so bad anymore. Feels like they had the actor before the story. Yep, that giant is drowned alright. Yeah, so those of you with the ability to count without the assistance of your fingers and toes will notice that there are less episodes in this volume. Like a lot less. It's about a third as many as Volume 1, and for my money they never quite hit as hard. Still, this is Love, Death, and Robots, and whatever else this series may be, it brings a lot to discuss. Just like in Volume 1, I'm going to go through 3 episodes, the stinker of this volume, 1 episode that tried and failed, and the best one of the lot. Picking great and close to great were pretty easy, but worst took me a moment. Until I remembered 1 episode, Automated Customer Service. Talk about a weak way to start the season. Aside from a weak premise where an old woman gets attacked by her cleaning robot, this episode is just horrifyingly ugly, to the point that I had trouble getting screenshots for this video. I don't know what the animators were going for, but if it was a nightmare in the uncanny valley, they nailed it. I will never watch this episode again, and if I have my way, I'll never look at another picture from it. Dishonorable mention to Pop Squad, which isn't a bad episode by any means, but is way too blunt in its execution. Just had to get that out of the way before moving on to the bland episode of this season. Drowned Giant is a big shrug of an episode. That's a little mean-spirited, but still true. In this episode, a dead giant man washes up on some English beach, and we go from there. I wish I could say more, but I really can't. The giant rots away and is basically just stripped for parts. Its skull gets used as a barn extension. All that said, I do understand what this episode is trying to say. How quickly something fantastic and unexplainable can become ordinary or mundane. Doesn't change the fact that the episode still doesn't work. It lacks energy. Doesn't stand up tall. Doesn't do like Zima Blue come out of the screen to crack you across the nose. It says what it says, and then it moves on. And then we all move on. To bigger and better things. Best episode of this series, hands down, was All Throughout the House. A Christmas short that you can watch all year round. I won't go into much detail on this episode's plot because this is another one best experienced blind. All I will say is that old Saint Nick is looking a little different than we thought. But this episode is 7 minutes long, didn't need 1 second more or 1 second less. Not a perfect 10 out of 10 by any stretch of the imagination, but this episode knew what it wanted to do, and it did it. I appreciate that. Thank you all for watching. I hope you'll come back for Volume 3. And I still hope that I'll make a summary on Volume 3.